Welcome to From the Valley podcast, episode 110, a special edition episode. Returning superstar of the podcast, Ben 10 Nguyen. It's been since September 2019. Last time we did a podcast together, if you remember, we on a plane trip to Gladstone. I don't know if you remember that, but I'm sure you do.
Oh, yeah.
And,
First time doing a podcast in the air.
That was revolutionary in itself. It was the first podcast that I did.
In the air, on the air.
Yeah, on the plane. And that's I guess where we found out a bit about your backstory. It was quite interesting growing up. Obviously, you sort of went into martial arts as a youngster as a way of counteracting any bullies and stuff like that. I remember that's sort of how you got into it, and you sort of became fairly addicted in those early years, and obviously Taekwondo. I think that was where I guess the most dominant form of your arts. But obviously you're very well rounded right across all areas of mixed martial arts. Now that you've been doing it for well over 15 years, I think. Is that about right? 15 years?
20 years now.
20 years, sorry.
Yeah, so, someone actually asked. Yeah, a neighborhood kid actually asked me. It's funny. It was because I was playing street cricket with the kids, and a neighborhood kid, he actually asked me. He knew who I was, but he actually asked me, "Hey Ben, how long you been doing martial arts for?" And I actually had to stop and think about and count like how many years. And it came to 20. I was like, "Holy crap! I have been doing martial arts since I was 12." So,
yep.
And that's 20 years ago. And like 20 years of doing martial arts. I was shocked in that moment, and I was actually kind of proud to say it too.
That's quite a while. So I guess there's a few different ways we can continue. I guess from where we sort of may have left off last time. Obviously, since then, that was a few months before. Obviously, you had the UFC fight in Adelaide against Wilson Hayes, which was a very, very close fight, and went to a decision. And then after that, I guess we obviously Ryzen sort of offered you some sort of, was it a 3-fight contract?
3-fight contract, yes.
Yeah. So and because of COVID, we've only had the one actual fight with Ryzen. There's only one sort of opportunity that's really sort of risen since you joined Ryzen. But obviously, I think you've had itchy feet to sort of, certainly in 2020, to get a fight, to get yourself back in there. But because of the international situation, unfortunately, we're certainly not able to do what you want to do. So that's obviously been pretty tough for a lot of people in mixed martial artists, especially Australians that fight internationally like yourself.
Yeah, pretty much if you're fighting, if you're not in the UFC and you're not in America fighting like Bellator and stuff, you're pretty much in a rough spot because international travel has just been really, really hard. And right now it's just tough it's easy to leave the country. Like, it's easy for me to leave Australia, but to come back in, it's like really hard. So
definitely it's difficult.
It's really tough. But no, I've just been keeping busy training, and I'm doing stuff at home, like trying to finish up like the house renos and stuff. So kind of I've got a lot of my time occupied with that.
Yeah, certainly I've heard some stories about those renovations. That it's obviously when you've got a house,
it never ends.
It never ends. There's always something, but I'm sure there's lots of improvements that have happened to your property as a result of all that time putting into it.
For sure.
What else is so? Yeah, that's a 2020 hasn't been great for a lot of I guess people similar to you. 2021, what does that sort of look like? It's a little bit uncertain still at the moment as far as the situation with COVID. The vaccines might be coming in.
Yeah. So we a couple of vaccines have come out in They're getting rolled out. Kind of a slower process, it seems like, in America. Australia has yet to get a vaccine approved. So I think a lot of experts are saying that things won't get back to normal until um, probably like Q3 of this year, 2021.
And even that's pretty ambitious, isn't it, when you think about it?
Yeah, I mean that's not that far away. I mean we're that's about half a year away, and the things are going how the things are going right now. It doesn't seem like it's gonna make that deadline or that normality at that stage. So it'll be tough to tell. I mean, who knows, man? Like 2020 was full of surprises. Um, 2021 could be the same.
One thing you have sort of done at least a few times over the last few years is obviously being a commentator, um, commentating some of these events. Ryzen, notably when
Yeah,
Horiguchi and lost his fight to what's the guy's name? Asakawa.
Kaya Sakura.
Now, and as you may,
Kaya
uh,
Sakura.
as just interesting note that they rematched only in the last few days, and that Horiguchi got him back. I'm not sure if you read that, but
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, coming off a layoff.
Horiguchi's now
Pretty
that
impressive.
champion again in Japan for is it bantamweight? I'm pretty sure he's got the belt
Hmm.
back. I think after about being out for most of a year. So um, yeah, so Horiguchi, I think from what I read, finished him off in the first 2.5 minutes of that fight. So that was he's as you know, he's a very dangerous sort of guy, and obviously he got his revenge that time against the Phenom. But
Yeah,
and you were there commentating the first fight, and then obviously you've done a little bit of commentary in some local events as well around the
yep.
troops as well.
So
So tell us about commentary. Is that something you can see? Obviously, both of us really enjoy that type of thing.
yeah,
What do
we've
you sort of
actually
like of it?
commentated the gig together
Yeah, so that's where
in
at Gladstone. Yeah,
Gladstone.
so
Yeah, that's
and I've sort of helped out with some commentary duties before, so
yeah,
um, it's quite fun, that's for sure. Doing that sort of thing is that I mean just like
right.
sort of giving you analysis, I guess, in that type of role when you're doing commentary, like from your experiences
Yeah.
and the way you sort of articulate it.
So yeah, so with commentary and doing it live, you have to be really fast on what you're saying and kind of explaining what is actually happening in that moment.
Mm, mm,
And with fights happen really fast. So I
really
mean, like
quickly,
when
yeah.
you're commentating on one scenario, like the next one happens like that. So you almost have to be like almost flowing and kind of keeping the words going and flowing while the action is happening right in front of you live. So um it was, at first it was really hard. I've done commentary, before I was in the UFC and stuff, and it's hard to 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 do that. Like at first it was really hard for me to even when I first did it was just amateur fights. It was all these
Mm,
fighters really unknown, like they've just debuted. That's their first fight, so there's no information
yeah,
on them
yeah,
whatsoever
yeah.
for the fight. So you can't really, you have to commentate, you got to keep talking, but like there's really, it's you got to find things to talk about. It was really challenging for me to do that. And
Mm,
I think now that I've had some practice with it, um just doing many shows after that, I'm getting better and better just being on camera and just
mm,
talking and
mm.
flowing. And it's
I
a
must
skill. I mean,
say,
like public speaking and
yeah.
being on camera is just it's a skill on its own.
Mm,
And it's funny because I never really took that. um I've never noticed that on how people speak on camera and stuff until recently. And man, like people there are people that are just so good at talking, and I admire people like Joe Rogan and
Mm.
Dominic Cruz and stuff, and
The-
DC, like
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
really good commenters, and just hearing them speak and do it while experience it myself
Mm.
is amazing.
I mean, just on that, I mean, I think, and just touching on, I obviously listened to what you did with the Horizon, and I think you did a really, it sounded like really, really good, really sort of professional.
Yeah.
You looked professional, and your reactions to the fights were natural, and obviously that right at the end there, big surprise, obviously, but and that sort of is something that happens as well.
Yeah.
You obviously get surprised if something maybe that you may not have expected to happen happens, and that's also can sort of make you get
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
you lose. I'm not sure you lose it
Yeah.
like
So
Joe
I've been
Rogan does,
trying
but
to, yeah, like Joe Rogan's, you hear that, whoa, and like
yeah,
it's hard not to do that in a fight, because not to do it too much
yeah,
in a fight, because like fights are exciting, like, and
mm,
things can
certainly.
change like that, as so they're really exciting, and it's really hard not to throw in those oohs and ahs
Mm.
as they come.
I guess the hardest thing too for me, I mean, my little stint is just making sure you're trying to be not free of bias. Like if you like one of the two
Yeah,
fighters, if you like one of the two fighters more than the other one, it's hard not. You got to try to
100%.
give the other guy as much a run, and sometimes you will. Even the professionals make that mistake from time to time. The really good
Yeah,
commentators will get you'll get somebody complaining about the way they sort of commentated the fight because they reckon that it was a bit biased,
yeah,
like
yeah,
that. So it's an
yeah,
interesting thing. But I mean, you always seem fairly independent anyway. So, but it's a certainly a difficulty that I've sort of noticed it anyway, as far as when being a commentator is concerned. And obviously,
no, yeah,
the more practice you have, the more you sort of call it more down the
yeah,
good.
yeah. What I try to keep in mind is when I'm commentating it, you got to keep in mind that that video is going to be saved. It's going to be watched by people of supporters of both fighters. So you kind of have to play almost be like a politician, and just be really unbiased. I know, like, a lot of politicians are really biased, but you have to be really biased, unbiased, keeping that in mind that both supporters are going to be watching that video of you
Mm,
saying stuff. So I have to try to just be really, I try to just stick to the techniques and what's happening, and
mm,
that's it. And when there's a question about, like, oh, who do you think won that round or not, um and I think you have to be honest,
mm.
and you have to
It's sometimes it's hard to know who
uh
won around too.
it is
Mm, when you get asked that question, or
yeah,
when you're sort of going through it in your mind, you're saying, "Oh, gee, that's really close round. It could go either way."
yeah, it's a close
Um,
one, and you just kind of keep all the politics and stuff
mm,
out of it, and just
mm.
watch the fight as a stranger.
There's a couple of things I probably want to talk to you about MMA, just to get your professional opinion. What do you think of the? We're
Sure.
talking about techniques, and we're talking about different. Uh, I mean, different parts and disciplines of mixed martial arts. In 2021 that we are in now, and from what you sort of seen over the last couple of years in particular, as the sport continues to evolve, what are the most important mixed martial arts disciplines to do really, to do absolutely 100%, have be very strong in, and those fighters generally have an advantage over the ones that aren't as strong in those types of disciplines. Now that we're sort of here.
Yeah, so I think now you're seeing nowadays everyone's going into MMA with a basic skill set. So those basic skill sets are wrestling and boxing and clinch stuff. So you're not really seeing like you're not seeing like a single discipline, like a pure like a jiu-jitsu Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy versus a striker anymore. Like that
Yeah.
doesn't really happen.
Yeah.
Seeing people just coming in with at least like a basic knowledge of wrestling, boxing, clinch, some kicking stuff, and I think out of all those, I mean, like probably the most important aspect of MMA is probably like the wrestling and positioning, man. Like that's paramount. Like positioning and being able to dictate where the fight goes, standing on the ground. I think that's probably the most important. But I mean, I think you're seeing nowadays like the striking is really taking over,
Yeah.
because people have that basic. They have got the basic takedown defense. They got the sprawls down. They got the getting the underhooks and breaking off in certain hits. So you're starting to see um, strikers like Israel coming out. Like he's got really great takedown defense, but his
Mm.
striking is just top notch, and it's just really hard to fight that when he's dictating where the fight's going. He wants to be standing, and he's just hitting you at range with punches and kicks. Like it's really hard to combat that unless you're Khabib, who can just
Steamroll.
storm through there and just weave through the strikes and get to your legs and
Mm.
take you down and stuff.
I mean, that's still pretty dominant.
That's
No matter who he's up against, that wrestling technique, no one's been able to solve that
yeah.
puzzle. So wrestling certainly, as you said, probably very, very strong to be great at that. But striking
Yeah.
and striking defenses have to be pretty important as well.
Yeah. Yeah, everything's important, but um wrestling is probably the most I guess useful skill, most versatile skill, and you absolutely need wrestling
Mm.
to be in a fight. Like if you have just boxing or kickboxing skill but no wrestling, like you're gonna get exposed quickly. Whereas like a wrestler, he could just take you down and just hold position on you and win the fight.
Mm.
So there's that.
So, and the other thing that's happened, I guess, since we last had you on the podcast, given a black belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, um, obviously
Yeah.
that was one of your strong points in your game, in your set of skills. Obviously, is that as
Oh,
well
thank
as
you.
obviously very good at the wrestling and the striking as well. But it's not. It's pretty hard to for just an MMA fighter that's got wrestling and that's got striking skills to also have a black belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. So that obviously makes you fairly well rounded. How I mean that's probably as you may have alluding to leading up to this. Still a very important skill still to have, but it's probably not obviously as high up as the others that we've said before. But it still comes into play, doesn't it? I mean, when you're sort of fighting, it does. It can. It's a situational thing where it can dictate a fight's result, can't it?
What is the like the jiu-jitsu, like the
Yeah,
submissions
yeah,
and stuff?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Like,
sure. Yeah. I think I've still got the record for the fastest flyweight UFC submission.
yep,
It was like under a minute or something like that against Tim Elliott. Um, so yeah, like that can change. That changed the whole fight. But
mm,
uh, what happened in that fight was actually I hit Tim with a really big kick that kind of rattled him, and then I was able to take his back really easy, and then um, put on a rear naked choke. So it was kind of the combination of my skills that led to that rear naked choke.
yep. But yeah, obviously had his back, didn't let go. He's sort of half. Obviously, if he sort of had a little bit more wits about him, but you're obviously right on his back, and yeah. So I mean, that's obviously an important skill, and that's a good example of how a fight gets finished with that type of skill. So and there's plenty of them. People, rear naked choke is
You're
probably.
seeing a lot of people. You're seeing a lot of people, shooting takedowns and getting caught with guillotines.
Yep, yep.
Either getting caught with the guillotine, getting finished with it, or either they get put in guillotine and then the guy sweeps him, gets on top, gets position. So submissions can lead to advantageous positions.
Mm,
So it could
yep.
definitely change fight. Easily get you into like a mount position
Mm,
and then start raining down punches and stuff.
mm. As far as your training regime over the last 12 months, has it been fair? The skills, you've sort of trained equally in pretty much all areas, or is there any particular skills that you've been working on more than others?
No. So I've really been focused on jujitsu and grappling, and it's probably like the one time I could focus on one attribute of mixed martial arts, because when you're an MMA fighter, and you kind of have to practice everything kind of all at once, and to keep everything sharp, because you never know when the next fight, you could get called up next day for a fight, so you got to be sharp entire time. um with the COVID year 2020, um I knew I didn't have a fight in the near future. So what I did was like, all right, well, I really wanted to work on jiu-jitsu, and just really drive that home, and really make that a focus in that year. And I felt like my grappling got a lot better, just being able to train every day, doing jiu-jitsu when we could. I wasn't able to leave, pretty much step inside a gym until it was like June, July or something
Yep,
of
yep.
last year. So um but in doing that, like, just training from then till now, I felt like my ground game, my grappling game got a lot better overall, just being able to train day in day out, just focusing on that. So it's been I think a pretty productive year for me. And um I'm still doing a little bit of striking. It's probably like an 80-20 split between my time between grappling. Grappling 80%, 20% striking. I'm just doing a little bit of striking at home, just with a mate,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of trying to keep that sharp as it can. And yeah, it's been fun. It's
Mm.
been keeping me busy, that's for sure.
So when the next fight does come, is there any sort of plans that you got in the back of your head as far as how you would you sort of do your training camp?
Yeah, so the plan for before COVID, it was to go overseas for a training camp,
Yep.
and
That's what a lot of people do. A
go
lot of
into my
people,
next.
a lot of
Yeah,
professionals go to that. You hear about Tai Tuivasa going to AKA, is a good example, where an Australian
yeah,
goes all the way over to Sacramento or where they are or somewhere, all the way around the world to train for fights.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So going
if,
overseas somewhere,
mm,
and then doing my fight camp out of there, and
mm,
getting just trying to get a different look at things, and improve my skills, and go from there.
yeah, definitely. Um, as far as as far as the MMA industry, I guess you obviously been watching what's been happening over the last couple of years, and that sort of thing with, I guess, the way the UFC is sort of going, and mixed martial arts generally, other organisations, what they've been doing. What have you sort of seen that you've liked over the last couple of years that in the industry? Do you think things are? Where do you think any improvements can be made as well, if you think there is any?
In the industry, as far as fighting, like being a professional fighter, I don't
Yeah.
think nothing has changed. Hey,
Mm,
I don't know. Like I feel like fighters they still need to band together and try to get some kind of union together to, because like, and like UFC fighters getting paid like what 15% of the overall profits from the UFC. It's like it's
it's
astonishing, man. Like we're
the only
putting our
way.
lives on the line for
The
the
only way
unit.
you can
So
make
it's
money is get bonuses, isn't it? In their system, it's the only
yeah,
way to live.
because
Otherwise,
pretty much
it's
half your paycheck goes to your training team,
mm,
management.
yeah, it just
You
disappears.
just
Yeah.
got to pay taxes on it, as you know, as an accountant. So like pretty much half of what you make is gone,
Mm,
and then the half that's left is put into the next training camp.
mm.
Yeah, that's
And then you still got to live.
travel, accommodation. You got to fly cornerman over, pay for equipment, all the little stuff, massage, physio, chiro. We're not like we don't have like a big sporting team that sporting facility that we could just walk into and get all of our stuff fixed. We pretty much do it all ourselves. So we're pretty much self-funding all that stuff.
Mm,
So it's hard. There's a lot more expenses than what people think in terms of fighting. Like we're just like see this big bonus that you get, and um they just get caught in that big number, and then that number isn't the final number though. That's not
no, no, definitely
your
not.
net.
Yes, interesting. So one thing probably wanted to make sure it covered off on today also as well was as you sort of said in the first podcast, there was a viral video that that
Oh,
obviously
what's
uh,
this viral video?
viral video so of yourself obviously um, with back in 2014 against Jules the Jackal. It's now up to I think 66 million views or something. It's probably added another 10 million views since we last did the podcast. So
Yeah.
66 million views, that's quite astronomical. I mean, obviously, what do you think about that viral video now, all these years later?
Oh man, like I I think it's uh I guess I guess some people have say that I've pretty much um it's funny because like a lot of people say that more people have seen me knock out someone than say like Chuck Liddell
Hmm,
or some guy, maybe more than Conor McGregor. I don't know. Probably not Conor McGregor, but um, I think it's pretty cool, and yeah, just knowing that video is out there, and my kids are gonna see it and stuff. It's kind of like what I'm known for, which is cool. Like a lot of people just know me from the video, but I've done a lot more than
of
just that.
course, yeah.
I've been in the UFC and stuff. Um, but I guess it's pretty cool to have a video of me knocking out someone, and that's got 66 million views. That's crazy.
And I just now
66 million
that
people
I'm
listen to me.
you know that I like my
Listen to
you
me.
know that I like my numbers, right? You know that I'm an accountant, statistician. I love all these things. So you work this out. If there's only been in the last 6 years, there's only been 190 million seconds. So that means somebody is definitely watched this video every third second the last 6 years.
Every third second
Yep.
for the
Every
last
three
6 years.
seconds. Yep. That's how viral.
Holy crap!
So what do you think about that?
Wow. That's so 1, 2, 3. Someone's
There's another
watched the
one.
video. 2, 3. 1. Okay, that's pretty cool when you put it like
and
that.
and and also, if you're thinking, okay, well, if that's how it is averaged, that's how it's averaged, and let's say there was 1 year where probably half of those views came in. Let's say it was 30. That means you're getting every half a second for 1 year. Back in say 2016 or whenever it became really popular,
Sure.
uh, you're getting like two or three people watching it every second.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that's insane. Yeah, when that thing went viral, man, it's just I woke up. I remember the day I woke up and my phone was just nonstop, just notifications. Like I had a million notifications on my phone, like from people on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, whatever. They're just messaging me, Ben, I saw you on this video. That's so cool. It's like I know this guy. Oh yeah, it was pretty cool to be famous for a bit.
Yeah, I think it's people still obviously watch it all the time. Do you mind if I just quickly share it as part of the podcast, just so people know what we're talking about?
Sure, I'll do
Okay,
the honors, sir.
let's have a look. There we go. Can you see that?
Oh yeah, there's one handsome dude on the right there.
so
Yeah.
about the initial thing, and this guy was very. It looks like he's not even walking straight. He's going side to side. He's a bit.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a
And
bit
then
funny, that
they
guy.
added the video of you knocking him out, and a little bit of a replay of it as well.
Every time I see this, every time I've seen this a million times, every time I see it, I'm just like I'm still impressed by
Yeah,
myself.
but
Oh
you,
wow!
you
Oh, just
trained
how hard I hit him.
you trained very hard for it. So and obviously
Yeah,
you've taken it from there. So I just wanted to I guess
yeah,
show people what we're actually talking about with that viral video. So,
yeah. I
um,
mean, I guess all those years of training paid off, didn't it?
yeah, well, that's right. And I've never seen anybody who's got as many tattoos since than that video. That's
No.
probably you see a lot of comments there. We won't sort of go into what people have said as far as comments, but that's what makes the video viral is just everything that's there. It's a bully situation. It's
Yeah.
a guy with lots of tattoos, very cocky, and then the clean skin looking guy basically
Clean skin.
becomes
The good
the
looking,
superhero.
handsome Asian dude.
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
and he just destroyed
It's
him.
awesome.
Quicker than John Dodson's destroyed people before. So you know,
Oh, shit. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
So
you're
that's. I just wanted to make sure we spoke about that. Any other sort of topics that you wanted to sort of bring up? I know anything else that
oh
sort of.
man.
I might have one or two more things, but
I guess with the commentary thing, it's kind of picking up for me. I'm
yeah,
doing a
okay,
couple shows here in this quarter,
okay,
two different shows. I'm locked. I'm gonna do another Hammer Fight Night in Brisbane, and then I'm gonna do a new show called Beast.
yep.
It's like it's Beast something, but it's put
Beef
on by
fighting
my
champion.
by a good friend. Yeah, Beast Fighting Championship, and put on by a good friend of mine, Jason Hode, and should be a good time. Yeah, I'm putting on more. I'm getting more and more into the commentary scene, and I'm getting better at it. Just
Yeah.
being better, being on camera and talking and stuff. So, um,
So tell us
yeah,
that.
so it
So
might be
Beast.
a full time gig for me.
Yeah. So Beast, and that's sort of similar to some of the other promotions like the Aftershock that we used to be around and stuff like that. Is it a little bit similar to that?
Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure what's what the relationship between Aftershock and Beast was, but I think Jason's kind of doing it on his own now.
Yep, yeah. It's a pretty cool name, but that's sort of I think the name of the mixed martial arts organisation up there is that was called Beast or something up in Gladstone, wasn't it? I think from memory.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, I was there.
They sort of brand it's like it's branded the same as that pretty much, which is good. And is Hammer is that just another sort of MMA promotion as well with Ross Cameron or?
Yeah, so Hama's really interesting. I did one of their first events end of last year, and I was put on at a warehouse out in Hammett, by the Port of Brisbane, like in the
Yeah, I think I
industrial
know that.
area.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, they did it in a facility where they train. They train like ex-army guys. A bunch of ex-army guys got like this big building that's set up to train, law enforcement, and it's pretty much like rooms set up to where you can like clear out rooms and stuff like that. And but they put the event there, and they've got like all these shipping containers, so it had like this industrial feel, like a kind of like a fight club feel to it. And it was kind of a smaller show, like a smaller venue, but the crowd was packed, so it was very intimate, and it had like that fight club feel to it. So I really enjoyed it, and the fights were really good, man. Like it was mostly amateur fights, but the amateurs were fighting almost like professionals. And you're
Really?
starting to see
Okay.
that more and more.
Wow.
Like the amateurs, I feel like the amateur isn't like amateur anymore. It's almost like semi-pro. Like amateur fights almost too seriously, and yeah, we saw a lot of great fights, and they're great. Like but like on that note with the amateurs, um, it felt like almost like a professional show. Like that easily could have been like a professional fight show, like with professional fighters and stuff.
Yeah,
So
that's
amateurs,
excellent.
because like the skill gap from amateur to professional is just it's closing. You know,
Mhm. Now,
kind of interesting.
one thing you sort of like doing from time to time is running seminars. Is that something you're looking to do a bit more in 2021?
Yeah, I'm doing that's right. I'm doing seminars and stuff. Been doing I did one last year up in Redcliffe, and hopefully I'll get more out there this year, spread the knowledge. And that's kind of something I want to go down to, is just doing like really technical seminars, really focused, and kind of just use that to kind of get my name out there. And um, I really enjoyed teaching and coaching. It's just and with seminars, it allows me to kind of travel and do all that stuff. So it's a cool experience to be able to do that, and hopefully you'll be able to do more next year. So if your gym is looking to do a seminar, let me know.
There are plenty of gyms around, and I know you know lots of them. So definitely, it's always be a good seminar, that's for sure. Especially the
Yeah,
well-rounded skills. There's always the good thing about seminars that you go to. There's always one or two techniques or probably sometimes half a dozen techniques that a lot of these guys just never use in their regular day-to-day, MMA training. So it's always good to pick up something new, isn't it?
yeah, for sure. Like as long as I learn like one new technique at a seminar, I feel like it's worth
Yep.
the $60 I paid for,
Yep.
because that one move could change a whole fight. It
Mm.
could have changed my whole outlook on fighting.
Mm. So I
So
guess
definitely worth it.
to sort of one of the finishing topics here, I guess, the future. You're looking at, I mean, one of the things that people may or may not know that you do like sort of acting a little bit. You do like stunts. Do you see yourself doing any of that sort of going forward as
Yeah,
far?
so yeah, that's another avenue I could definitely travel down. Last year actually was an extra in one of Marvel's movies that they were shooting down in Sydney, and that movie is Shang-Chi, which they just finished production on or shooting about a month ago. So hopefully that movie, you might see me in that movie in theaters this year. And yeah, but something that I've been kind of playing around with, hopefully this year kind of give me a better idea, like um, what to do and whatnot. I'm speaking of doing that stuff, that where Hammer Fight Night was done at, that they specialize in that kind of stuff with they train like gun handling and stuff, but with like mock guns and stuff. So I'm planning on going down there to go do some training and kind of get my trying to get my foot in the door there.
Mm. And I guess finally, obviously we spoke about how you like to sort of I guess teach people techniques, teach people. You've been involved in lots. You've mentored lots of young people in the MMA game and that sort of thing, and obviously
Mm-hmm.
something that would be interesting is obviously setting up your own sort of organization as far as doing that type of thing, or a gym or something along those sort of
Yeah.
lines. That's obviously something you could do in the future as well.
Yeah, so yeah, I've got plans to open up my own gym in the future, when I'm done fighting. I just feel like it's really hard to, I guess, teach and fight at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
When you're fighting, you almost have to, you got to take in energy from people. You got to be really selfish when you're a fighter,
Yep.
and when you're a coach, you got to be the most selfless person in the world,
Mm.
because you're giving your time, your energy to all these students wanting to learn. So I feel like it's polar opposites,
Mm.
and to be able to really do one side well, really have to focus on that side of things instead of trying to juggle both.
Yep. That makes sense. Yep. I look
Yeah,
forward
so in the
to
near future, open up my own gym, and yeah, I'll be happy.
certainly. We all look forward to, I guess, what the future holds for Ben 10 Nguyen. It's certainly you've had a great career to date as well. I mean, you've obviously accomplished quite a lot in mixed martial arts as a you know, world class athlete when it comes to MMA. Well, obviously well-rounded game.
Thank you, thank
Had
you.
some very you've been as we've probably said this many times, but you've been fighting the best of the best in a lot of these cases. So a lot of experience that a lot of other guys will never be able to have the opportunity to have had, and so obviously congratulations again. I guess
Thank you.
when it comes to that. So and we all look forward to seeing what's next for Ben 10. So, but I know it's been a while since we sort of decided to sit down and open. I mean, we've had lots of conversations privately over the last year and a half or so, and certainly miss
Yeah.
you. I certainly miss you as a friend. Uh,
Oh, it's me too. You're gonna
but
come back. You're gonna come back
yeah,
to this side of the pond, right?
I mean, I've been trying to work out how to get bloody flights back there. It's not bloody easy, I'll tell you. At the moment,
Yeah.
I've been
Shoot.
just in the last couple of days. I've been really looking hard. So I'm hoping, really do hope it's
Oh,
sort of February, March is what
fingers
it's looking like at the
crossed.
moment. So yeah,
Oh,
but who knows? We need to just find out. We need to hear a bit more as well as to what's going on. Jacinta Ardern has been very quiet since the 14th of December after she made the announcement that they were going to have two-way. They were going to have two-way sort of quarantine-free travel between New Zealand and Australia as well. But
oh
nothing,
wow.
had nothing in the last 3 weeks as we see what sort of happens with this, with the few cases that are in Victoria and New South Wales. So it seems
Who's gonna
to,
do the Triple J party?
yeah. I mean, I missed. I think we, yeah, I missed those Triple J parties. I think 3 or 4 years in a row that we did that. It was 18, 19, 20. So I'm not sure. We'll have to somehow. We might have to do some sort of um, what do you call it? What's that other thing we do? House party or something. One of
Yeah.
those types of things on Saturday, the 23rd of January. There is there's a brewery about 5 minutes away that have actually putting up a party on that day. So that's something I've
Oh, nice.
lucky enough that
Is it a
that's
Triple J party?
that's the theme. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I didn't know they did Triple J in New Zealand.
I talked to this guy into it. So.
Oh, nice.
But he's Australian himself. He's the owner of this brewery.
Aussie, Aussie.
He's from Newcastle or somewhere, but they listen. Some places listen to alternative music, here in New Zealand, just like anywhere. So, but yeah, they obviously do. New Zealand do sort of. I'm not saying they copy Australia, but they certainly like Australian things.
For sure.
So, mate,
Yeah.
anything final before we sort of wrap this up? It's been a good 50 minutes, I reckon.
Anything final? Oh man. Um Looking to get back into the cage, maybe, when all this COVID stuff settles down and get back into real hard training and stuff, and yeah, I'm looking forward for it, and hopefully we can do that in the near future. So you'll see me when it's all settled down, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough. That's been great. Thanks very much for doing this, Ben. It's giving you a bit
Yeah,
of
thanks for having me on, Tim. It's always
with
a
the
pleasure.
with the time since the last one has been quite a bit to reflect on. So that's been really really good. Obviously, certainly, it's yeah, you always be a great friend. And I'm wearing the old Ben 10 t-shirt there.
Oh,
You know
did you see that?
the Ben 10 fighter t-shirt. So if anyone wants any, I'm not sure if there's any of those still around, but yeah, no, good stuff, mate. All the best in 2021 and beyond.
All right. All right,
Oh,
Tim.
no worries, mate. I'll
Thank
chat to you
you.
soon. Cheers.
Yep.